before I fucking start, can I just say, I've never seen an AEG with a RARTEC one-piece gearbox hop unit thing and a RARTEC body and all this stuff on it, and the expensive nature. I've never seen anything like that come to me looking like it was sold by fucking Carpet World. Honestly, the last time I saw any of that kind of fluffy pattern, it was in my great aunt's house, and we never saw her again. I just chronoed it, and it does, 458 on a 0.2. It says 0.25, it's not, it's a 0.2 gone through there. So I mean, it works. It works. What's this? That's not a good sound to start with. Oh, if you are eating or masturbating or anything like that, stop now. Originally, this was going to be a DMR, and the guys decided, let's just make it a select fire rifle, and I've gone, yeah, fine. That's the before. So, well, it's tatty, but nothing's broke. Customer contacted me, I asked why the sticky stuff, and he said, oh, that was just so it wouldn't ruin the finish. He's also now specified he'd actually like it to be set up as a DMR, and I was like, yep, fair, no problem. So it's tatty, but it's not fucked. Gotta say though, I've never seen electrical tape and a piece of cardboard instead of a selector plate. That's some clever shit. All finished up nicely. This was so nearly a decent build, but a reshim, giving it a selector switch, giving it a selector plate, changing out the spring, it was just way too powerful. Basically sorted everything out. The only parts I've used are a new spring, a fire selector, selector plate, tappet plate. That's it. The rest of it is how it was. So, safe. Semi. And of course, semi. Now here's my thoughts on this. This is basically Retro Arms everything. It's Retro Arms everything. And I understand that it's easier in some regards to build the gearbox when it's a split casing. I completely understand that. It's easier when it's a split casing. But not really. Because you can't check for certain things like the lineup of the piston with the gears without having to sort of having both sides open and things like that. It's tougher. A CNC'd block of aluminium is going to be tougher than a cast thing. And no, that's all I can see that's really beneficial. Like, if you know what you're doing, it's quicker and easier just to do the gearbox and just get it fucking done. What makes one part of the job quicker makes the other part longer. And it makes it fucking neither here nor there, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, okay, you can pop your front pin out, and you can then remove your upper. You can pop the rear pin out. That's fine. And then you can remove the top half of the gearbox, depending on your screw. In this case, the screw goes so far and deep in that it holds the upper to the lower. So you can change your spring on the fly, but you can do it equally as quickly by taking one screw out of the stock and changing your spring. There's another plate back here, but it's neither here nor there. It's not any quicker, it's not any fucking easier. So I'm just kind of not seeing the point in the split gearbox thing, which is a shame because I'm about to do a split gearbox gun for myself. Who remembers this monstrosity? Well. The time has come, now that I've just done with the Retro Arms, like everything being Retro Arms that you just saw, I'm now going to do a test on the same kind of version of the gearbox, split gearbox thingy, but it's a fuck ton cheaper. and I figured this is probably the one to test it on. Let's have a fucking play. Okay, so I'm going to have to say that I probably put a mega fucking huge cunt load of fucking rounds through this. I threw it together out of shit. I didn't shim it properly. I dumped it together. I didn't grease it. Nothing. That's actually black underneath there, or it should be anyway. Look at that. Look at that. Sit the G&G gears. I love them. Stood up perfectly to all that bullshit. And what I put this gun through was fucking bullshit. Just absolute bullshit. My favourite thing is that. Look at that. Words cannot describe. Look at it. It's obliterated. So this is the ZCI, or ZCL, however you want to call it. The quality seems to be good. Top half already set up. That's you know, piece of piss. If you want to check your AOE and make sure your tappet plate and everything is lining up properly, all that kind of shit, you still got to do it with the gearbox open. You know? Which is smeh. That's fine. It doesn't matter. That's a benefit. Get to have a look at your shimming. Get to see if your bushings are straight and all that shit. Make sure it's all lined up. Right, so let's keep this up to date. We'll keep this absolutely bob on as far as I've got. So all of the original parts that were in the other one are back in this one. I've cleaned it all out. There was nothing broken apart from the tappet plate, which I have swapped out for a different tappet plate. Everything else, nozzle was fucked, so I changed that out as well. Everything else was repairable. It does take, in my opinion, it's not really any difference in time. I thought it might be longer to do it this way. It's not, but it's a bit more fussy if you want to be really in depth. And obviously, when I first built this thing, I did it, just threw it together to see what happened. I wanted to break it, whereas now I'm putting some effort in. My big feeling so far is we want to change out the top half, perhaps. Maybe we want to change the power of the gun. Let's assume it's on a single sector gear or whatever. We want to change the power of the gun. You know, you might have a 300 fill limit somewhere, 350 somewhere else, whatever, you know, doesn't matter. So you can quick swap the upper, but you can't, because the upper is attached through the back. You can take this screw out. You don't need this screw in there, technically. If I remove that, you can hot swap by removing this body pin, but not if you are going to hold everything in place with this screw. You've still got to take your stock off. So you're taking your stock tube off, which again you'd have to do in a lot of cases to get to your quick change spring. And for that reason, I'm not seeing a benefit, because you could just change your spring. You know? Now you can do a hot swap regarding, you know, a different piston setup. You might have a really high speed setup in one of them, so using a lightweight piston perhaps, and changing your volumes and shit for your barrel lengths. But it's just like, it's quite a lot of hassle. It's quite a lot of hassle. But a lot of people really do like these, and so far this has been a dream to go together. Early stages, but it was actually easier than the retro arms. It really was easier than the retro arms. And let's face it, if you like the retro arms, you're going to like this, because it's half the price, and it did seem a little bit easier. So I've been spanking the fuck out of this, basically. Warhead motor, Heron V2 hybrid, my normal bits and pieces on the inside. I have decided the triple sector gear, it's still not worth it. When you are combining a 35k warhead motor of any of the varieties, and you're combining it with a set of 13-to-1s, short stroke by 4 teeth with an M120 spring, your semi-auto repeatability is, I mean, you can't tell there's a fucking difference. But this gearbox has stood up to about 10,000 rounds of absolute fucking brutality. So that's good testing so far.